Hello there, gamers everywhere. I'm Swipper92 and we're here with Ravenswatch. Ravenswatch is a new roguelite from the developers of Curse of the Dead Gods. We can certainly see that. And does it hold up to the Curse of the Dead Gods game? Well, let's see. To me, it's actually a little bit better than Curse of the Dead Gods. I never became a fan of Curse of the Dead Gods. I still have the game, I liked it enough, but I didn't play it too much. But you can certainly see the similarities in both combat and definitely the animations and art style. And I do love the art style. The art style is very nice, it looks crisp and it fits the kind of theme of the game. And the theme of the game? Well, fairy tales, believe it or not. Whole characters are fairy tale characters, like we have Little Red Riding Hood, the Little Mermaid, Aladdin, the Pied Piper, the Snow Queen, and Beowulf. And these are the current characters of, but more are, of course, in the works. But they don't. They only. They do have a roadmap that shows what's coming in the spring, summer, and fall. Now, I believe there was a new character coming this spring, so we'll have that to look forward to. As for the rest of the game, well, basically you choose a character and then you go out into a somewhat open world where you choose what to do. There are different things to loot, different things to do, and so on. Different enemies to fight. Now, let's start with something basic here. As you get into the world, you get to choose your first perk. This can be something random. This is a random thing. And then you go out, and as you defeat monsters, you will gain XP and level up. Each time you level up, you can choose a new perk. You can choose between only two, which is and the perk, which is a bit limited, but the perks themselves are also quite limited in numbers. There aren't that many different perks for each character, as each character has their own unique perks that upgrade their abilities in some ways. Each character comes with basic attack, power ability, and then the special ability, and then a evade or defense ability. As I understand it, let's see, basic attack on left click, power attack on right click, special ability on E, and then you have your defense ability on shift. Now these do different things depending on your character, of course, and I do love the different characters, but we'll come to that in a bit. Level 5 is the maximum you can get while out in the world killing monsters, and you also get XP from completing certain objectives. There are a bunch of different things to do in that world before you get to fight the boss. Now this is on a timer. The main boss will spawn and you will get teleported to that location after 24 minutes. So at 24 minutes you will get teleported. Now this fight can be easy or hard depending on what difficulty you're playing at and how much you have progressed. Now the good thing is that when you spawn into the world at when you first spawn in, the timer won't start until you have actually exited the spawn point. So there's that. There are a bunch of different locations in this open world, and you can teleport between them when you find the different Raven teleporters, as I want to call them. Now, these different objectives can range from killing enemies and gaining some, let's say, currency. I can't remember what there actually are. There's some kind of rocks that you break and you get a currency for that. And at the base camp where you first spawn, you can interact with an NPC there to buy some different upgrades for you, which is very good. There's also chests to loot, and these chests will give you a perk, but not a character specific perk, but a, well, basic perk like more damage, health, or whatever. Then there are books you can what is it? They're called grimoires, I think they are. I believe they're called grimoires in the game. And these different um, locations does differentiate in difficulty. They differ in difficulty, and you can see that by looking at the minimap, where you see if the location has a red, yellow, or green. Um, I want to say outline. So if it has a green outline, it's easy, and if it's red, then it's difficult. There will be more enemies and there will be tougher enemies. So be aware of that when doing different objectives. Now, as for the open world, well, right now there's only one, unfortunately, but more is coming, of course. But I believe the first one will come in summer, so we will have to wait a while before that, but that's alright, I'm good with that. Now, I have played about 10 hours in the game, and I have gotten one character to level 5, like globally level 5, because every time you end a run, you get XP towards your character, and each level gives you a new ability. Well, not new ability, but new perks to an ability. You also unlock other more global perks that apply to all characters. And as you complete each a new difficulty that you haven't completed before, you also unlock the next difficulty. As I understand it, 10 is the maximum. I have completed difficulty 6 at most, I believe. Now, the different characters, I love them. They are very different from one another, and so far I think Aladdin is my favorite because he's very versatile and he's quick. Now, the one I think is the most difficult one would be the Ice Queen, because, well, depending on if it's day or night, her abilities are a little bit different, and same with Scarlet. Scarlet is Red Riding Hood. Now, Red Riding Hood is, well, she's Red Riding Hood during the day, and at night she's a wolf. She's the big bad wolf. And I love that mechanic, but Scarlet herself, Little Red Riding Hood, is very underpowered compared to the wolf, because the big bad wolf can both heal himself, has much higher damage in both basic attacks and power attacks. Now, Little Red Riding Hood, well, her abilities are more defensive and quick, so that's a good thing. But I do prefer being in werewolf form because of, well, more damage and healing myself. He basically gets lifesteal from his defensive ability. That lifesteal is also applied when using his power attack. So when a power attack does like 200 damage, well, that heals quite a lot of health. I don't understand that power dynamic there is, the power difference between the two forms, but yeah. Now Ice Queen, as I said, also have difference because one of her abilities deals damage during the day, and during night it doesn't. Instead of dealing damage, it basically has a longer duration or something. I mean, it's very confusing. I have completed at least one run with her, but oh, she's a confusing character. I feel like she's very underpowered, but she is very unique, and I do like that. Melusine, or Melusine, however you pronounce that, is the Little Mermaid, and I do like that one. She actually becomes stuck. You can't move with her as you're attacking with your basic attack and power attack, but she can attack at range further out than others, I believe, and she does have a good amount of, well, I would say her defensive ability is slightly shorter in cooldown, I think. But anyway, she's a good character, and I do think she's balanced enough to actually be a playable character. Same with Pied Piper and Beowulf. Now, as I said, Ice Queen and Scarlet, well, not exactly my favorites, but the Big Bad Wolf, oof. Too bad he and Scarlet is the same character. Ravenswatch also has co-op capabilities where you can play up to 4 players, I think. 4 players at the same time. Each playing a different character. You can't choose the same one as far as I know. And this... I haven't tried co-op yet, but there is also one thing on the open world that I want to mention together with this. And that's the quests. There are quests you can get from one of the little pigs, you know, from the 3 little pigs fairy tale. Either you get the straw, wood, or brick house pig, and they want you to collect, well, collect materials for their house to be able to withstand a monster attack from the different monsters in the world. And collecting the necessary materials, the necessary amount, is really difficult because you also get a timer with this. So you need to get to the location, kill the monsters, and then pick up the material, and then go to another location, kill the monster, get the materials, and then go to a third location and kill the monsters and get the materials and run back. Doing this within the time limit of, I believe, is 4 minutes, maybe 5, is actually more difficult than it sounds. And on top of that, if you do complete it, which I have only done once, complete the collect all the materials in time part, I've only completed that once, and then you build the house, or you complete the house, and then the monsters attack. There's a lot of monsters. Then they won't focus you, they will focus the house. And at the beginning, sure, it looks fine. Maybe you complete it, maybe you kill the monsters quickly. But then the big guys comes around and you're screwed, basically. The quests are a nice addition to the open world. I like them that way. But they feel more constructed towards co-op than solo play. So I believe there's a necessary change. There needs to be a change there that has more balanced towards solo players, because as a solo player, mostly, especially this type of game, because I don't have many friends who like this type of games, yeah, there's a certain difficulty to completing those. The rewards are supposedly very good for completing the quests. Now you can scale down the reward in solo, and of course scale with this downscale difficulty, and maybe only have 2 locations with the materials to collect. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Now, I do like this game much more than Curse of Dead Gods, but that doesn't make Curse of Dead Gods a bad game, far from it. But I'm very interested to see what will happen with this game, because there's so many things they can do now, and there's so many characters they can introduce, and the way they have introduced and balanced the existing characters, I am very impressed by that, and I'm looking very much forward to what they will do with other characters. Now, that has been my impressions of Ravenswatch, the new roguelite from the Curse of the Gods developers. I am very impressed, and I'm looking forward to more. I've been Swipper92, have a great life, and I hope to see you in future videos. Bye bye!